In the beginning, man, we had like 4 teams. I'm running around the city trying to pick up players for their damn games. Showing up to their house like 5 minutes before the game, trying to tell them that they got a game to play today, while the other team's already at the gym waiting. This is roundball, man, like a decade ago. 4 teams deep, then we hit Surrey, and then we ended up turning into like a young adults league. And even then, it was like we were stuck at like 6 to 8 teams, and we traveled around the block. Like I swear we were in every Surrey gym at one point, because you couldn't get a contract with the gym for a long time. And it was tough. It was so tough. People give up on doing this stuff because it's hard to find gym space that you can keep, you could stay at, that will give you a decent rate. You know what I mean? So this was our first spot that gave us a break. So the moment I got that key, I was like amped. I think like when I went home, I was like busting like DMX in the car, because I was like, yo, come make me lose my up. And like I just felt like, okay, like I knew in those moments that we were gonna take over.
The unique thing about roundball is that obviously the highlight packages,
You know, full stat tracking, highlights, and all that.
I get from roundball, it's like family.
Vancouver, Surrey, Burnaby, wherever.
Been one of the most competitive leagues in the Lower Mainland.
It's fun, you know, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm still playing, because roundball makes it fun.
Roundball's really kind of taken over, especially with what they've done with social media and connecting everybody, and now everybody just wants to play in roundball, so that you're in that hub, you're in that community. Roundball kind of provides that, we're just gonna go hoop type thing, like we're gonna go have some fun, but we're gonna compete, we're gonna get after it.
You can count on me. It's game time. Well, I call it game time.
One of the big reasons why we launched Roundball was because at that particular time, we felt like the leagues in the Lower Mainland were not doing basketball any justice. They weren't really giving basketball the vibe and the atmosphere and a lot of the fun components of it that it deserved.
The music and the stats, that made the biggest difference, because that was, I think, the first league, at least locally, where that type of stuff was available.
We did stats in like 5-player categories. So we were taking note of people's assists, their points, their rebounds, their steals, all this stuff. And young kids were soaking it up. Along with that, we did more cool events, things like all-star games with the Nautic Street Ballers. And these were guys that had already made a global impact in street ball across the world.
So that created a completely different element, and that probably increased everybody's energy by like 25%.
While we were building Roundball, we ourselves as young guys that were building Roundball were being mentored. We were being mentored by a man named Alpha from Help Change My City, who is doing all these incredible initiatives across the city, working with youth in Surrey, working with youth in Richmond. And he was making an impact. And we were fortunate to be some of the young guys that he was making an impact on.
I was doing youth work in the city of Richmond. I'd actually just started out. And I met Nate on the basketball court, introduced to me by one of his friends. He said, "You gotta meet Nate." And Nate was playing ball. At that point in time, I was sitting on the bench, and they just kind of pointed him out. and he had this, he was driving, he wasn't afraid to go. We became good friends and that stuff, and we're talking about mentorship. He came down to the youth program, and he wanted to do more than just show up. That's all I gotta say. He wanted to do more than just show up, because showing up is not enough. He wanted to, learn how to lead. He wanted to know how we can take the youth program to the next level. So we started to do small youth programs and tournaments. And Nate was one of the guys I would run to.
So a lot of our drive to do something new, to do something innovative in the city for youth and sports came from him, came from the passion he shared with us, some of his impact, some of his innovative skills.
So he started to talk about, I want to use this game to impact young lives. And there was only a few places where young people could play. So you play on your school team, you could show up on the, on the court and kind of play 3-on-3 kind of situation, or else you end up going into college or men's league. So there was a gap there. And he wanted to use the game to impact the young people within Richmond so that they may, get off the street. It was April 2008 on the 14th, the Monday night, and it was on the news on Tuesday because they talked about a young man that had just was on his way home, and he had been stabbed on Cooney Road. I think that's where they lived. You watch it on the news and you don't know what's going on, and then the word started going out on text message that it was Charlie. And I think Nate texted me that night and to say, hey, that was Charlie. He was Charlie, and he explained his brother and him were playing in the league.
We got a call from Richmond Hospital saying like, hey, are you guys familiar with Charlie Dalday, right? He's like, yeah, that's my brother. And then he's like, oh, you guys gotta rush to the hospital. It's really like urgently. And then later on that evening we got home. That's when I realized that like my brother's actually like gone, like passed away. He's like not coming back to see you, never ever, It was kind of hard, like that moment, like in those times in my life, I think I was like really depressed. I was sad, like I didn't know what to do with my life. Like what helped me through like overcome this, I think it was like family and friends, and then I think mostly I think the thing that helped me out is like basketball. It helped me out because there was like a lot of like interaction, a lot of friends comforting you, telling you everything's gonna be okay.
The day after he passed, we had league games. Like he was supposed to play, right? And the guys showed up. Like the team showed up. Right? Like people had found out what happened to him, and people showed up to play, and no, like nobody knew what to do. Like people didn't stay home. It's like all they knew to do was to come to the basketball court and play their game. Like show up, even though he wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like, and there was something remarkable about that.
As they played, I think they had a reflection of the importance of this league and the importance of family and community in this league and in this time. And it was tough days, but people started to message one another and say, what can we do out of this in order to impact the community? Because we shouldn't end this way. It shouldn't. One's life should not end this way. So we spoke. And even days later, there was the funeral. We went to the funeral, and guys showed up from the league to be able to show their respect for the young man, Charlie, and also respect for the family, and also to say, you know what, we got to do better for our community.
I really felt like that was a turning point for roundball, because I knew in those instances we couldn't just be a basketball league anymore. We couldn't just be a basketball program. We had to use the opportunities we had to connect with people in there, to better people. If they're coming here for healing, if they're coming here for the fact that they're struggling with different things in life, then what are we doing here that's making them better as individuals? How are we helping them, succeed in life? How are we helping them cope through difficult circumstances? Like, this is like more than a court, it's like a healing ground. It was hard because we couldn't play, and it wasn't just about playing. As the months passed, the days passed, and the year passed, the stories began to roll in from players and people all across our league about how this was taking a toll on them.
It's not something you think of originally, but you realize, damn, this stuff really affects my life, quite a bit. We missed this, we're missing roundball. We didn't think we were gonna miss it. We knew we'd miss it, but you didn't realize how many components, like mental health, meditation, camaraderie, teamwork, community, everything kind of plays a part. It's more than just, this was my Friday night or my Wednesday night, but it's like, these were my boys I was hanging out with all the time. These were the guys I was competing with. This was the community we kind of created, the community we were in.
The value we bring through roundball, and not just the community, and not just the people you meet here and the relationships you build, but the networking that takes place all throughout the week, the tad bits of a nice post, and the intrinsic value you get from seeing some of your highlights up and someone commenting nice game, like those things matter. And that was all taken away. That was all taken away.
If someone had said, you can't play for a season, I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm fine. But you realize how much you miss, more than just the, athletic part of it or just the exercise.
A couple months in, we finally got an okay to get into one of our gyms again. We couldn't use any of our sites, none of our gyms. We couldn't do anything, right? We finally had an okay to get into one of our gyms and do something like a shoot around, right? And so for us, all we could do is run a 3-point competition and a dunk off. We've never really hit a season like this where we don't have a season running across any of the sites. So just to see you guys and have you guys respond is just great.
3, 2, 1, go!
But that was a motivator. That event was a motivator because you got to see some of your regular faces again, and you got to have some of those conversations again. And it sparked something new where it was like, people need this, and people want this, and people are excited for better days. We had our league launch again after over a year and then some, right? Like almost a year and a half. And it was incredible, man. Like the atmosphere was just different. There was a gratefulness in this gym that was just unlike anything I've ever experienced before.
This COVID thing, it got a lot of people feeling weak mentally, and myself, physically as well. So it's always good to have the boys out on a Friday night, and playing ball. It's just, we love to do it, and Nate makes it happen for us. So thanks to the round ball guys.
Man, it's been way too long, been over a year. The guys are so excited. We're just glad to play basketball and, give back to the community. That's what round ball's all about.
It's good to get back. Good to see familiar faces. Just see everyone, bro. It's like a family here. So always good.
Basketball is a privilege, and the fact that I'm here alive, we're well, and we are here hooping is a privilege. So glad to be back.
It was just an incredible night back, and we began to build off of that. And slowly and steadily, we were able to just continue to go through the motions of a pandemic, numbers going up, numbers going down, numbers going up. But we rode that wave, and we were able to endure it and bounce back even stronger. One of the biggest takeaways for me is the fact that we're passionate about this. We're passionate about this. And if there's anything we try and tell young people, I've been a youth worker for 10 years. And if there's anything I try and tell young people is when you try and figure out what you want to do, make sure you love it. Don't chase stuff for money, but chase something because you love it and you're passionate about it, and you will find a way to make that thing work out for you. Because it's you, it's who you are, it's your gifting, it's your skill, it's your talent. It's essentially what God gave you purpose to do. And I see that in roundball. I see that in so many people that come through our sites. I see that in the relationships that are built through roundball. I see that in all the value that comes from it in the community, and the amazing people that I've met, and the opportunities that have come, and it's just been an incredible thing, and we're just getting started.